attached to Arsenal. And Arsenal is a team, like you said, a club that there is something about the club that is not explainable. But we can explain it because we know what it is. It's called, and you said it's so. The club has decided how they want to run as a club, regardless.
Right. Regardless.
And that's a very big problem in the world that we live today. A lot of people can't stand for something because you always lose something if you stand for something. So you can't win all the time. But a lot of people want to win every time. So wherever that is winning, they go there. Yeah. That's the issue a lot of people have with Arsenal.
Watch Transit TV right now.
It's bad to say, Samuel, and keep watching Transit TV.
Transit TV, what a day to be an Arsenal fan, what a day to be a football person, what a day to talk football. Against all odds, Arsenal are through to this year's semi-finals in UEFA Champions League, knocking out Real Madrid on a two-legged tie, 5-1 in aggregate, 3-0 in Emirates, and 2-1 yesterday, beating them in Spain, in Bernabeu. Against all odds, against all the noise, all the remontada, all the comeback kings, in fact, at some point, if you don't know, if you don't follow football, if you don't watch football, or even if you're a football fan, you will begin to believe that Arsenal was going to be knocked out yesterday. In the studio is my main man, my Arsenal man, Arsenal through and through, blood of Arsenal flowing to his ardent Atata supporter. And Ugu, my brother, if you're not new to this channel, you already know him. But if you are new, you are going to listen to a man that understands Arsenal, understands football, and ardently, unapologetically supports Arteta and his project in Arsenal. Ugu, you are welcome to the show.
Yeah, Reggie, it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. What a morning. This is the morning after the night before. And what a night it was. What a night it was for Arsenal fans. For you, you give me credit for supporting Arteta. I would say even when my faith was low, yours was high. Your belief and faith in the manager and his work is unflinching. It's something that I took inspiration from. At some point when my confidence was really low. So what a morning, man. I slept well last night, but I didn't sleep completely because I still woke up in the middle of the night.
Taking content on YouTube.
Yeah,
at 3 a.m. this morning I was on it. Because I just wanted to get all the details in case I missed anything yesterday.
Yeah, and man, trust me, man, YouTube is not gonna rest from me today. I'm gonna read, I'm gonna listen to every little thing that's being said. I did not give my team a chance against Real Madrid. In fact, I started dreading Real Madrid from before the second round.
Before they even won Atletico Madrid, I remember having a conversation. I was asking you, who do you prefer? It couldn't even be which one to play against.
Yes.
I prefer Real Madrid all the time because of the way they play.
Yes. Once I realized they were in the same bucket with Arsenal, there was a possibility of meeting them down the line. I dreaded. I was like, okay, we've been following Arsenal in the Champions League for a minute. For close to how many years Arsenal left the Champions League, finally came back, and it's been a while since Arsenal played Real Madrid. In contrast, Arsenal have played Bayern Munich, for example, I think 18 times or so.
Yes.
So many times. So, this was a side that I dreaded very much to play. And this time yesterday, I was the opinion that all I needed was for Arsenal to just
progress. He didn't care, even if it was 4-3.
Yes. I was like,
it was a penalty.
Yeah. I was like, I'll be content. Let them just go past this hurdle of Real Madrid. But having said that, my mind has changed, and now I want more. Now I believe even more because this guy's the performance in Madrid was incredible.
Let's break it down a little bit. Talk about the game a little bit, and then we are going to even start from on this one. I don't know. There's no point talking about the lineup anymore. We had discussed it yesterday. Ancelotti went ahead and released his team sheet very, very early, about 2 hours to the game, which was surprising to me. And I don't know if that worked in favor of him or against him. At least give Ateta more time to prepare for the team. They made some adjustments, which ordinarily should be able to help them. But I mean, this Arsenal team is well drilled. Like you said, Ateta has really drilled this team and they stood up for it. I don't know. What did you make about did you have any feelings when you saw the team sheet for the two teams?
Well, I thought Real Madrid releasing their team list 2 hours to the game was again one of the things that they tried to do to destabilize Arsenal, to show that they were confident, to show that they were, ready to come out and smoke Arsenal. In addition to all kinds of stuff, man, since I started following football on social media and Fabrizio and it's been, this last week has been crazy, And like Thierry Henry said when he was talking after the game, he was more nervous. He was more scared and nervous about this game within the last week than when the game actually started, right? The whole thing was blown completely out of proportion. And, I was quite scared. So talking about the lineups, when I saw the Real lineup, I was like, okay, they released it early. Nothing too surprising there. Like you predicted, they moved Valverde to the midfield and start Modric on the bench and played Vasquez. Okay. Yes, from right back. It wasn't surprising to see that. Arsenal, on the other hand, it kept the same squad. At some point, there were rumors that Partey
was not starting, yes.
Which was a bit scary. But when the team sheet came out, he was on the team list. So, yeah, there were no surprises with the selections for the game.
So, yeah, then in the game proper, obviously, Saka lost the penalty. I don't know what he was thinking. I'm suspecting that Thierry Henry, because he said after the game that he spoke to Henry the morning before the game. Maybe he told him to do something different because Henry never talked about that penalty in that interview. But that's just, messing around for me. And the confidence that he had, and he never showed like somebody that lost the penalty in that big game. And I think another thing that worked for Arsenal was the fact that they had 3 goals in the bank. So they knew that, okay, probably they would have discussed, even if we concede 1, we have 2 more to defend. So, and they had time. So me, as a fan, I was taking it 5 minutes by 5 minutes. Every 5 minutes, I look at the clock, okay, 5 minutes go, 45 minutes went. And I said, I trust this team, they can concede 3 goals in 45 minutes. And like you said, the razzmatazz, the media coverage, all the gimmicks that Madrid use kind of make you start to doubt what you know already. And luckily, from what we saw from the players, it didn't look like they were affected by all that. It was just, to them, it was just story. And unfortunately for Real Madrid, they did all that, and 10 minutes into the game, you couldn't see it on the pitch. And so once there was a disparity between what we were seeing on the pitch and all the noise they've been making throughout the week, as a fan, I relaxed. And I'm sure the same happened to the players. They were like, where's the Madrid? Is it the same Madrid that's been making noise? So let's look at it, talk about players. For me as a person, it's really, really very difficult to pick out players. But the way this football is run, they're still going to vote for man of the match of the game. I think it was the guys that won it. For you, let's talk about, okay, let me give you 4 players that were key to this victory for Arsenal yesterday.
Okay, 4 players. You're preempting me because if I were to give man of the match, I'll give man of the match to the 11 players that played. Yeah. I cannot single out a single player that performed below others. Now, but I understand where you're coming from with asking for 4 players because even when 11 men play well, there are people that their performance is more apparent. Yeah, and can be quantified more than others, right? Those 4, if I were forced to name them, Jacob Kivior will be on that list for me. Declan Rice will be on that list for me. Mikel Merino will be on that list for me. Now, yeah, it's crazy.
It's hard. It's hard.
So because I greatly value underappreciated players. I don't know how to. It bothers me. Let me not say it bothers me, but I like to highlight underappreciated players. So, why would I talk about Bukayo Saka now and not talk about Julian Timber?
Or even Saliba.
Or Thomas Partey, or William Saliba. I mean, so Bukayo Saka scored a wicked goal.
I'm telling you, bro.
After missing the penalty the way that he missed it, it was monumental. But Mikel Merino's touch to create that goal for him. Now, some of these things we see.
And the timing.
If you haven't played the game, you will not understand. Or if you don't know the basics of playing in the midfield and knowing the value of touching the ball at the right time,
the velocity,
with the right weight.
Exactly. That's the velocity and the space. Everything about it was perfect. The two goals, actually.
Thank you. I was just about to highlight the second. The second goal, he released the ball. If you watch that second goal again, right? The thing about offsides, as a referee, yeah, if you are running a game as a referee or an AR, and a run starts from a player starts to run from the side of the field, you've got to watch when it crosses that middle line, right?
And when the ball is released.
And when the ball is released, thank you. Mikel Merino released that ball. Gabriel Martinelli was just about to cross the middle line when he released that ball. So even if Martinelli was supposed to be offside, the timing of the release of the pass made it impossible for any offside call.
It was perfect. And again, not just releasing the ball, putting the ball where it was advantage Martinelli and
just run into it. That's right.
Because there's a way you release the ball is a little bit closer to the defender and he can meet up. But because the gap between the defender and where the ball was going to drop was still like 5-6 steps. And Martinelli with his pace, obviously, he's going to go past Vasquez. He was very perfect. Like, for me.
And I didn't. We haven't mentioned David Raya. We've done 10 minutes of the show. We haven't mentioned David Raya, who again is such an incredible element in that team.
I love him.
Oh my goodness!
He gave a perfect interview before the game. I think that's where, if Real Madrid players with all their noise, if they watch the press conference of David Raya and Mikel Arteta, I'm sure they will be like, nah, this didn't work. This didn't work. He said we are here to create our own history. We're not coming here to talk about. I love that narrative. Creating history. Hey, man, this is the kind of thing. That's why I'm not going to preempt anything, but this team will create history. No doubt about it. Yeah, because that's the mindset. Yeah, that game, let's talk about Real Madrid a little bit, because, I mean, these are perennial winners of Champions League. These are, in the last 5-6, I think they've won it 3 or 4 times. So you can't, these are no jokers. In Champions League, going 180 minutes against Arsenal and scoring. In fact, they didn't even score. Arsenal just dashed them 1 goal. Yes. In the grand scheme of things, if you look at that game in its entirety, there was nothing that showed that Madrid was going to in any way make it to the semi-finals. So what went wrong for Real Madrid? How did Arsenal do it? What did Arsenal do to stop them from being the Real Madrid that we know?
It started from winning that battle of the mind. When you meet someone that's supposedly your superior, supposedly your bully, and you said, hey, and you say to yourself, it will not happen this time. Arsenal just came with the mindset of people that are tired of being, written off, but are tired of being dominated. People are tired of getting to the line and not being able to cross it. And they were like, we will cross this line this time. That's the first thing. Second thing was preparation. You could see that the team prepared itself with the tactical setup, with the intensity and level at which they played. And, when they were analyzing the game yesterday, some of the experts, they said that Arsenal did a lot of things, switched a lot of, things during the game, in the course of the game. Yeah, they switched from possession to high press. Sometimes they did middle press. Sometimes they did more of the passing within possession play. Sometimes they did more of the switching with long balls. They kept moving things around, kept being fluid, and that comes with
everybody being on the same page.
That's right. That comes with the team that they've done the homework. Again, body of work. These guys have walked and walked and walked. Now it's become second nature to do the things because you walked on the playground.
I was going to remind you, I was going to mention that, like, you remember you always talk about body of work. What we saw yesterday is not a yesterday work. This is a long time coming. I mean, Arsenal beat Manchester City 5-1 this season. They played Liverpool at the Emirates. They had played Liverpool, but somehow they get in a draw. They beat PSV 7-1. They beat Sporting 5. They went to Spain, France and beat PSG 2-0. I think it was at the Emirates. They beat PSG. They went to Inter Milan earlier in the season and lost by 1-0. And we know how that 1-0 came. It was a suspicious penalty. So it's been a long time coming. And in the last 18 meetings, the traditional Big Six in England, Arsenal has not lost. So they have become a big stage team. But people just don't want to accept the fact that this should be in the same sentence with the word Arsenal. That's just the problem. Because, like you said, even before the game, when experts were analyzing or pundits were analyzing the game, they kept trying to give Real Madrid credit that they will come back. But when they now try to break it down, one thing that everybody was saying, but this Arsenal team doesn't concede goals. How is Real Madrid going to do it? And they score goals. So it became a conundrum for everybody. The people just try to write Arsenal off. Real Madrid, of course, they have the power, the media power to move things around in the media, in social media especially. But when it comes to ending the show, it all boils down to who is going to score and who is going to concede for the game to be won or lost. And at this areas of the game, Arsenal was superior to Real Madrid based on what we have seen this season. So there's no way you can just come up and say Madrid was going to come back. On what basis? So that was always the question. People who were on the Arsenal side were asking the other people. Okay, fine. Real Madrid are comeback kings. We understand that they've done it many times. But this Arsenal don't concede goals. And they also score. So there's no guarantee that they will not score at the Bernabeu. That means Madrid have to score 5 goals yesterday to go through. And we'll know the rest.